Welcome to the therapy floor. We're doing something a little bit different, and we have decided that we're going to be sharing with you some mindfulness techniques that we might deliver to our clients in the therapy room, and some tips that you can start to take away and begin using in your personal life. So today begins that series of this, and we're going to start with Vicky sharing one of her techniques.
Yeah, so you may have heard this before, and I think people have their own spin on it and there are different iterations of it. But essentially, it's a safe space meditation and it's a guided meditation. So I'll walk you through. It should only take about 5 minutes. And the idea is that you can come back to this when you are feeling anxious, when you are feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and you just need some respite and you need to come into yourself. Feel the calm before you go out again and face whatever it is that you're facing. So a safe space, I'm going to do a house because, well, we all live in a house or a house of some sorts.
A home.
A home. And homes can really represent safety, security, tranquility, refuge. But what better way to, if your physical home isn't necessarily calm or peaceful, but we also have a home, which is our bodies. And so we can come into our bodies and we can retreat into our minds, feel safe, and then go out again to face the world. So I would say get comfortable. I would sit on a chair, or if you are sitting on the floor like us, make sure you have something that supports your back, bums firmly planted on the ground or in a chair, your feet making contact with the ground as well, and then your hands just loosely placed on your lap. I would really encourage you to do this with your eyes closed, and Ritz is going to demonstrate, and Ritz is actually going to do the meditation.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you're going to close your eyes. I'm going to keep my eyes open. If that feels too overwhelming for you, or if you're doing this in a space where you can't close your eyes, you can just look down at the floor. Okay, you don't need anything else. Just your mind, your ears. Let's go. Okay, so before we start any guided meditation, we want to really center ourselves on our breath and be aware of our surroundings and be aware of our bodies. So in the position that you're sitting in right now, I just want you to bring to your awareness how you are feeling. So how does it feel to have your back resting against a support? How does it feel to have your bum firmly planted on the ground or in a chair? Make note of just how generally you're feeling within your body. And this isn't an invitation to change anything, but just to be aware. Just to be aware of how you feel in this present moment. And now we're going to extend that awareness to our breath. So just expand your awareness to breathing in and noticing as your rib cage rises as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, how your rib cage comes down. Notice your belly expanding and collapsing as you breathe in and out. And typically when you're breathing or you're aware that you're breathing, you may want to change your breath. Again, you don't have to, just be aware. And if you want, you can add descriptive words. My chest feels tight, or I feel restricted, or I feel free, I feel loose. Just be aware. And even now and throughout this guided meditation, you may notice that your mind will wander. That's okay, because that is simply what minds do, they wander. But with a lot of repetition, a lot of practice, we can train our minds to stay focused. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you notice your mind wandering throughout this guided meditation, just gently bring it back. Gently bring it back to the last area of focus. So now that we spent a couple of minutes being aware of our bodily sensations, contact with our environment, we're aware of how our body's feeling, how our breath feels as we breathe in and we breathe out. let's begin the descent to our safe space, aka your safe house or home. Now I want you to imagine yourself walking down a country lane. It's really quiet, and all you can hear are maybe the sounds of nature, the birds in the trees, the wind in the grass, crickets. And imagine yourself walking down this country lane. You feel safe, you feel at peace, you feel like there is no care in the world, there is nothing to rush home for. You are just walking towards what is going to be your safe space. And as you walk down this country lane, we are going to be met with a gate. And this is the gate to your house, your safe space. Take a moment in your mind's eye to think about what this gate looks like. Is it tall? Is it short? Is it wide? Is it narrow? Is it yellow, red, blue? What does it look like? And in your mind's eye, as you open the gate and you walk through and you walk up to your house, take a moment to think about the path, the walk up to the house. Are there shrubs, patioed, grass? What does it look like? How long is the walk up to your house? Now we've arrived at the front door. Before we really open our eyes to take in this magnificent space, house, I want you just to think about what you're feeling in this moment. Here is a space that you can retreat to, which is your sanctuary, which is your peace, where you don't feel anxious, you don't feel stressed, you feel at ease and free. Take a moment to think of how amazing this feeling feels. And now I want you to look at the house. Now, this is your safe space, so you can decide how this house looks. Is it brick? Is it wood? Is it a bungalow? A townhouse? 3 stories? Is it a caravan? A cottage? An apartment block? It really doesn't matter. All that matters is that this is a space that you want to be in and you can design. Imagine yourself turning the key into the front door and walking in. What are you met with? Take a look around. What's the decor like? Can you smell anything? Can you hear anything? How do you feel walking into this sanctuary? Are there photos on the wall? Is it completely blank? What's the aesthetic like? Is it modern? Country? Whatever the case may be. What does it look like? And what do you love about it? Now, as we look around this safe space, this beautiful, safe home, we're going to make our way into a particular room within the house. Now, this is a room that you can go in and literally your cares are left at the door. I want you to imagine yourself walking up to this room. You're walking up to the door, you're opening the door, and you're stepping inside. What are you met with? What does this room look like? But more importantly, what do you do when you're in this room? It could be painting, playing music. It could be just lying down, sleeping. It could be talking to people. It could just be looking out the window, looking at the view. This is your space where you can be 100% yourself and you can feel 100% at peace. Therefore, you decide what goes on in this room you decide what this room looks like, and you decide who comes into this room. Now, this could be a room just for you, or it could be a room where you invite someone in, a loved one, a friend, a family member, maybe even someone who's gone and who's no longer here. You decide who comes into this room because you have the key and you're in control. So just spend a moment in here just thinking about this space and this room and just feeling so at peace and content. Remember this feeling because you're going to come back to it time and time again. Okay, it's now time to leave this room. Be curious about how that statement makes you feel. Are you okay to leave the room? Are you wanting to stay a bit longer? Are you excited to leave? Do you feel energized, sleepy? There is no right or wrong here. Even though we're leaving, remember that you have the key and you can come back at any time. So before we exit the room, just take a moment to look around, say goodbye to whoever you need to say goodbye to. It could be the room, it could be people inside the room. Capture this moment. And now we're heading out of the door. And we're locking the door behind us and keeping the key somewhere safe on our person. It's actually time to leave the house as well. But again, remember, you can come back at any time. So picture yourself walking back through the rooms, through the corridors, making notes of what you're sensing, what you're feeling, what you're hearing, smelling, even tasting. This is your safe house. This is your safe space. And you're in control. We're heading to the door. We're walking through the front door, closing the door, locking it, and heading back down that same path. How does it feel now to walk out of the house in comparison to maybe how you felt walking in? What do you notice as you walk back down the path and through the same gate that we came through? Is anything different? Can you see anything? Can you hear anything? Or maybe you're just aware of how you're feeling. We're walking back down the country lane. We're met with the same familiar sights and sounds and smells. What can you decipher? What can you make out? Now we're going to come back to the room. We've left the country lane. We've left our safe space behind. And we're going to come back into the room and bring our awareness back to our breath. So take a moment here to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, feeling your chest rising, rib cage rising. Breathe out, feel your rib cage deflating, pressing down. Reminder that if your mind wanders, it's okay, it's just what minds do, but bring it back when you feel ready and able to. And now we're going to change focus and we are going to get in contact again with our body physically in this room. Feel the sensation of your feet on the floor, your bum on the chair or the ground. your back against the backrest, your hands on your lap. And even though we're back in the room, you still have the safe house, safe space in your heart, and you can return to it whenever you need to. When you're ready, you can gently look up or open your eyes. That's a safe space.
That was really powerful.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You enjoy that?
I loved it.
Oh, good. Do you want to share a bit?
Sure.
Whatever you feel comfortable to share, because I know it's very deeply personal.
Well, for me, I think it just showed to me the power of scenes and how much nature brings me safety. Whether that be a place that I curated that had both elements of water and greenery and sound, and that it was a place that I was able to see all of that from. So glass formed a big part of the actual building.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I put myself in.
Yeah.
And of course, it was so easy to be distracted by wandering thoughts, but just bringing myself back when you said those words of like, use part of your body to bring you back. That was a really grounding way to just keep coming back to the room. So thank you.
No worries. Was there anything in the meditation that you found difficult or challenging that other people may also struggle with, as a heads up?
I found it like, oh, I'm not sure about this one. When you asked, is there anybody in the room with you? Is there anyone you want to bring in the room? I wasn't really prepared for that question, I think. And then I think that maybe took me off on a bit of a tangent about people. And then for me, I wanted to bring myself back to say, actually, I'm not going to think about anyone else for now. This is just for me.
Yeah.
So that might be something that maybe just leads you down a bit of a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And if it does, like it did for me, just bring yourself back to your room, I think.
Yes. And I think that can happen at any point during the meditation, actually. With any of the pointers or the places that I'm trying to guide you to. If it doesn't feel right for you, you can just veer off.
Skip it.
You can skip it and just breathe. And then come back again when you feel like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to curate or navigate or explore. So, yeah.
Thank you for doing that for us.
That's all right. That's okay. I hope you guys enjoyed it, or even if you don't enjoy it, because not all meditations are enjoyable. Sometimes they can bring up difficult emotions that we realise we haven't processed. That's okay. It's all part of the learning. It's all part of the process of figuring out how to regulate yourself, how to calm yourself, and how to deal with difficult emotions. So, yeah, but on the whole, I hope that it would be helpful for you to know the power of your mind and where you can take your mind. I think that's the key point here.
That's a beautiful message.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. We will see you for the next meditation video. Bye.